Okay, ladies and germs, it's time for the morning boxing talk. Sawab was good, Ernie was good, Willie was good, Abner was good, Steele was good, Nebraska, Omaha, Nebraska, the home of Terrence Crawford is in the building. You know what I mean? A very predictable turn of events in the world of boxing. The Jaime Munguia fight with Jamal Charlo, it has effectively been defunct. Seemed too good to be true to begin with, though it didn't seem like it seemed too good to be true that they would be able to get the fight over the line, though at the same time, it didn't seem outside the realm of possibility that Showtime and the PBC, they're going to have to start making fights with other people because they can't keep these guys on an island and hope to drum up any interest or any business. You can only do that for so long. I said in my previous video that I believe that they really wanted to get that fight over the line. I believe that they wanted to actually do that fight. I don't think they were faking the funk. I think they were serious. But Golden Boy Promotions, and I've said this before, they don't have the biggest stable. They don't have as many bodies to spare. So they're going to be very careful with every single one of their fighters, the fighters that they do have. Look at, just look at how Ryan Garcia's career is panning out. You know what I mean? Like, that kid should be fighting, and here we are. He's in a comeback fight against Emmanuel to go. Where did he go? You know what I mean? They're going to be very careful. And, he had his mental health stuff and all of that, though, all the same. They don't have the bodies to spare. That's the main thing. And I said it in my previous video. Shout out to Mark. Low-key Suleski's one of Charlo's best opponents in his career, and that's not a good thing. Oh, we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that. I feel like they're being very careful with Jaime. I feel like Jaime probably doesn't give a shit. He probably wants to fight. He probably wants to fight a high-profile opponent or an opponent with a better profile than the guys that he's been fighting. I actually think he wants to fight, but Golden Boy screwed the pooch, and nobody should lose sight of that. Golden Boy screwed the pooch. They wanted this to be a pay-per-view. The story is that Showtime was going to put it on regular Showtime, which I can kind of sort of believe. Not really. Because if you put that on pay-per-view, I think you could do 300,000 pay-per-view buys with that fight. Modest estimate, 300,000 to 350,000 buys with that fight. I think you could. And if they wanted to put it on pay-per-view, I'd understand. I know that some of you out there, you don't feel that fight is pay-per-view worthy. I do get that because we're getting a better fight than that on regular ESPN. And being honest, we get fights of that same caliber all the time. Just because Munguia is valuable to Golden Boy in the greater scheme of things, that doesn't make him a star. He's a local attraction at best. That's what he is. Yeah, he can move tickets in certain parts of the country, but he's not in a place to where, he's a pay-per-view star. And neither is Jamal Charlo. That's what the numbers show. But for my money, I would have paid for the fight if they put it on pay-per-view. I would have paid for it. And I believe that Showtime really was trying to do that fight. But Golden Boy just doesn't have the bodies to spare, and that's the main thing. What other prize stallions do they really have at or around those weights? And overall, how many prize stallions do they actually have to where they can afford to gamble? See, Top Rank found themselves in a similar situation with Jose Ramirez, to where they were made a sizable offer for a fight by another platform, by another promoter. And Top Rank has a big enough stable that, they can afford to gamble that, okay, we'll send Jose Ramirez over there because we ain't got $4 million for him over here. So if you want to pay this guy $4 million for a unification match, hey, we'll send him over. And that's what they did. They have a big enough stable that they can afford to gamble. But Golden Boy, they're not what they used to be. They don't have Canelo Alvarez anymore, and they don't have as many resources. They don't have as many bodies. So I kind of feel like what Oscar was doing was sabotaging the fight, or trying to find a way to sabotage the fight by insisting that the Zone get involved, even though the Zone didn't make any mention of wanting to be involved or billing it as a pay-per-view. That all of that was Oscar. Maul's next fight will be Fat Rolly at middleweight. Now, in reference to Jermall Charlo's next opponent, Maciej Sulieski, poor opponent choice. You can't tell the whole boxing community, you can't tell the boxing world with a straight face that nobody cares about Demetrius Andrade and nobody wants to see him fight just for you to fight somebody that he beat already like 2 or 3 years ago. That makes absolutely no sense. Even more peculiar is that Canelo Alvarez's biggest detractors hold it against him that many of his previous opponents in recent memory are Europeans. Well, what the fuck is Maciej Sulieski? And that requires explanation because the next man in line behind Jaime Munguia was not Maciej Sulieski. It was Carlos Adames, your stablemate. You always hear these guys tell you that, oh, Crawford should have crossed the street. This guy needs to cross the street. They need to cross the street. Listen, motherfucker, Carlos is on the same side of the street as Charlo, and he ain't even getting a fight. They landed on Sulieski a little bit too fast for me. If you offered to fight the Jaime, who he's not your mandatory yet, and all of that didn't work out, why isn't Carlos Adames the next man in line? It's not hard to see what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, what's the point in being on that side of the street when Munguia gets more priority than you do? Because that's basically what happened. Oh, you could fast track Munguia to the WBC title, but you can't fast track Adames, even though he on your side of the street. Then I guess being on your side of the street don't fucking mean nothing, then do it. Because Sulieski getting a title shot that should be going to Adames. If you look at the ranked standings, you can see clear as day. It's Jaime Munguia at number 1, Carlos Adames at number 2. Don't hold your breath waiting for Chris Eubank Jr. to fucking fight somebody. At number 4, it's Yanni Bekalim Kanuli. At number fucking 5, and I don't even think he should be there. Like, by now, he shouldn't even be in the top 10. Sergey Derevyanchenko. It's silly what they're doing. It's silly. Virgil has a condition that is associated with a muscle breakdown, and it's a lot of people are associating it with a fighter who is depleted, a fighter who is killing himself to make weight, because it can be a byproduct of someone who is lacking nutrition or something like that. I read about it, but in a nutshell, what he's suffering from could be a byproduct of somebody who's killing himself to make the weight. This is proof Oscar is lying, saying Canelo never wanted Charlo, and if Jaime leaves, Oscar De La Hoya. Yeah, I mean, it's not hard to see. It's not hard to see that Oscar, in attempting to get the zone involved and attempting to build this as a joint pay-per-view, this fight is not big enough for you to try to bill it as a joint pay-per-view. Ultimately, at some point, you have to gamble. Whether it's on your own side of the street or someone else's, you have to be willing to gamble. You can't protect this kid from everything that's out there forever. If you have any intention of turning him into a marquee attraction and a marquee fighter, you got to be willing to put him in there with the names. You don't fucking have access to Triple G. You don't have access to Ryota Murata. You didn't want to put him in there with Demetrius Andrade. So this was the next best thing. And if I'm being honest, the fight was winnable for Jaime. It was a winnable fight. I'm not going to say he would have blew Charlo out the water, but I view that fight as being winnable. Like, it's not outside the realm of possibility that Jaime could get through with something hard and take the guy out. It's possible. The shit don't make no sense, because it's like, if you don't want to put this guy in a fight like that, and you can't provide him with a fight like that, what the fuck are you going to do for him the next 12 months? What are you going to do? If Golovkin beats Murata, he goes into a Canelo fight, so you don't have that option. Demetrius Andrade, he done fucking left the middleweight division, so you don't have that to fall back on. You have no champions yourself in this division. So what the fuck do you look like mucking up this situation? This was probably the best fight you could hope to put Jaime in, given the circumstances. And Oscar fucked it up. It's not hard to see how that happens. So now you see that even though Carlos Adames ranks in at number 2 in the WBC rank standings, they didn't give him the fight that they were ready to give Jaime. They gave it to fucking Maciej Suliecki. Why is Maciej Suliecki, who's, I don't know, where's he ranked? Number 9? Why is number 9 getting the fight that number 2 should be getting? It doesn't make sense. Golden Boy doesn't have a stable because when Oscar was in rehab, his buddy Al Heyman mesmerized all the black fighters with tales of Mayweather money and took them to PBC Island. And yeah, man, that's exactly what it is. That's literally, look, those fighters, for what it's worth, those fighters showed a lot of promise a few years ago. Errol Spence Jr., Keith Thurman, all those fighters, the entire stable that had that exodus from Golden Boy Promotions over to the PBC. There was a time when those were very good, young, up-and-coming, blue-chip prospects and strong fighters. But from being over there and them doing business the way they do business, the whole goddamn crop's gone bad. Because this doesn't just affect Jaime. You can have criticism for Golden Boy Promotions and how they're handling Jaime's career, but you can also have criticism for Jermall Charlo, because I said it in a video I uploaded yesterday, and I'm going to say it again. You thought you was too good to box Demetrius Andrade, and now this is karma biting you in the fucking ass. It's not a coincidence that now you're going to end up fighting a dude that he beat already 2.5 to 3 years ago. It's not a coincidence. That's the fucking universe laughing at your ass. You really thought you too good to box Demetrius Andrade. You thought don't nobody care about him. Brody, don't nobody care about you. This shit is crazy. He really thought that he could afford to do that. Like, oh yeah, fuck Andrade, right? Fuck unifying, as if you have the luxury of choice. I said it yesterday and I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it here live. You don't got it like Triple G, and you need to stop acting like you do, because you don't. You don't got it like Canelo, and you need to stop acting like you do, because you don't. You're not a proven draw anywhere in the world. Triple G has fought outside of America and put asses in the seats. Right now, that fight that he's about to have with Ryota Murata is being billed as the biggest fight in Japan's history. He got drawing power. Canelo got drawing power. You don't. And you don't want to do what you have to do to get drawing power. Your fans, they're a bunch of fucking idiots. They rather sit around defending Charlo for fighting Suliecki than demand or at least hold him accountable for not fighting Demetrius Andrade. That fight was there for you the whole time. They was willing to overpay you to do that fight, and you ignored that, man. It's not a coincidence. I'm trying to tell y'all. It's not a coincidence that now, oh, you going to end up fighting the dude that he beat already? It's not a coincidence. That's the fucking universe laughing at your ass. That's what that fucking shit. You supposed to be Mr. Hasadidi on a high horse. I'm too good to box Andrade. And what's happened? Since you turned down that fight, what's happened? You done got your credit card declined at a goddamn diner, can't pay for a BLT. You had some charges levied against you by your cousin. I mean, your own family ratting you out. And now you about to fight in yet another fight that don't nobody give a fuck about. That shit is stupid. That shit's stupid. The fight to make at middleweight, believe it or not, it was always Charlo versus Andrade, because they got a long-standing beef. You know, they got their own little history and shit. They both was unbeaten 2 division champions. That was the fight that made sense. But we're living in an environment where nobody want to gamble. Golden Boy don't want to gamble Munguia on Charlo, and Charlo didn't want to gamble on Andrade. You only want to fight in fights that's a sure bet. And you think that the fans, you think they can't tell when they matching you against guys like Montiel, and that's the only fight you had the whole 2021. Yo, dog, Charlo versus Andrade could have happened early last year. We saw Andrade fight like 2-3 times or something like that. He fought Quigley, he fought William. He fought 2 times. He fought Williams and Quigley. If y'all would have wanted to do that unification match, y'all could have did that shit last year. But y'all thought y'all was too good to box that dude. Now look at you. Most you could do is fight a dude that he beat 2 years ago. It's not a coincidence. That's karma. It's motherfucking karma. De La Hoya's next best move is pitching Golden Boy Promotions a stable to Eddie Hearn and Matchroom. Look, man, Oscar fucked up. Oscar fucked up because at this point with Jaime, the most you could do is gamble. You can't keep, you can't keep him out of fights like that because he don't have a big enough name to where he can afford to be out of fights like that. He don't. And he's never going to get there unless you're willing to gamble, unless you're willing to put him in a real 50-50 kind of situation. Look at Zerto. Zerto got the same kind of record that Munguia got. Now, is he a big name? Is people clawing at their face to see Zerto Ramirez fight? He got the same kind of record Munguia got. He just older than Munguia. He a former champion, like Munguia. WBO title, like Munguia. They fucking that wreck up over there, man. He beat Sergey and said, all right, I'm done. I don't need to test myself further. Shit is crazy, man. Yep, some guy who hasn't fought in 4 years. Realist boxing. Yo, this shit is crazy, man. It's karma, bro. It's karma. When you see, it's not a coincidence. When you see that the best dude they could find for you is a dude that Andre beat, bruh, that's the universe. Like, shit is real, B. This is why chucking money at Golden Boy don't. Now, I won't say that. I won't say that because there are certain problems that I see arising as a result of Golden Boy not having the resources to put on more shows. For example, Virgil Ortiz is a very big welterweight. And, you know, this is a guy who needs to stay around a certain weight all year because if he doesn't, by the time he does get a fight, it's going to be very hard to make welterweight. You'll notice that Virgil hasn't seen action since August of last year. He hasn't seen no action since August of last year. If they could have got him out one more time before last year ended, that would have been ideal. You know, that would have been like, yeah, that's good. Get him out there as much as you can because you know how political this division is. So the most you can do is keep your fighter busy. But I'd wager that they don't have the resources. They don't have the budget to put on all that many shows. They don't. Ring IQ payday 2020. Yeah, man, like they all waiting for that payday. And that shit is corny because don't nobody feel sorry for him. Outside of the same 50 accounts on Twitter, nobody feels sorry for them dudes. Outside of the mongoloids here on YouTube that watch ego videos and all that trash, right? In the real world, people are not paying to see you fight. Fuck this digital shit. Fuck Twitter. Fuck Facebook. In the real world, yo, people don't give a fuck about your fight, bro. Because that's what the metrics show. That's what they show. The only place you need to be right now is on regular Showtime. Fighting in fights that people have easy access to because you're not in a place where you could charge them an arm and a leg for a fight. That's what the 2020 pay-per-view showed us when they had that Charlo doubleheader. Yeah, I bought it. I'm one of the few fucking people that bought it. It only did on a little over 100,000 buys. You're not in a place where you could fight any old body and it's going to do numbers. Nah, you really not. So what you should have done, I should say, because it's too fucking late. You can't go back now. It's too late. You should have fought Andre. Should have fought Andre. I guarantee you would have did better numbers on regular Showtime than what you did with Montiel. If it were Andre, you would have did better numbers. But y'all want to act like he ain't shit when in reality, you ain't shit. You ain't like, I'm sorry, it's just the facts. You wanted to poo-poo all over boo-boo, and now look at the situation you in. You can't defend Suliecki as an opponent option, bro. Why they ain't offer him Adames? If Adames is number 2 in the WBC rank standings, how the fuck did y'all get to Suliecki? I don't think this is what Canelo. Yo, real shit. That's not what he meant. That's not what he meant. What's it worth being a PBC fighter and being on a PBC side of the street when a PBC fighter gets passed over for a fight that should be going to him? If y'all was willing to fast track Jaime to the title, right? Because he was number one. When that don't work out, how the fuck you get the number 9 without talking to number 2? I'm pretty sure Damas wanted that fight. I'm pretty sure he want to box for the WBC title. But y'all know what y'all doing. And y'all know that even if Charlo is the betting favorite, he gonna have to work in that fight because Adames could box a little bit too. But y'all don't put him in there with Charlo, right? The next Top Rank show is this weekend with Edgar Burlonga versus Steve Rolls. That's this weekend. This shit is crazy. Like, you can't, there's no way. Like, that's why I always remind people that for all the idiots you see on Twitter and all of the shitty content creators you find on YouTube, no matter what their numbers are, they don't represent the real world. In the real world, nobody want to see Charlo versus Suliecki. Who the fuck want to see that? You can't tell the world. Nobody watches Andre. Nobody want to see Andre. When you busy fighting motherfuckers that he beat already. You can't be serious. This fight will be the biggest when both Charlo is being walked out in his late 40s and his brother holding oxygen tank, and Munguia walks out with Oscar De La Hoya in his 60s with fishnets on. This shit is crazy. The whole shit is crazy. To me, throw the whole goddamn middleweight division away. The whole division, throw it away. The whole goddamn thing. Because all you got is a lot of guys that they think they're in a position that Triple G is in. They think. They're even Ryota Murata. I said it for 3-4 years. Ryota Murata is a superstar. He don't need a lot of guys. He getting money in his own neck of the woods. The same way American fighters like to hide out in America. Yo, that's what he was doing in Japan. And I ain't even gonna hold him because at least he came here for the Rob Brandt fight. How many times has Charlo fought outside the country? Somebody tell me, please. You know what I mean? You trying to act like you a star and you not. You don't want to do the legwork, and you the same motherfucking age as Canelo. You the same age as Canelo, but you really think you a star. Somebody must. Shout out to Kent for relays and boxing talks. Mad respect, the chat and the panel. Appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that. He want to act like these guys. That's why I don't like arguing with people on Twitter, because, bro, why am I talking to you? You not being real. Charlo had a fight that he could have had, and you keep giving him passes because you like him. In reality, you don't have that luxury. He never had that luxury where you could turn your nose up at a champion that want to get it on. You didn't have the luxury of turning down that fight, but that's what you did, and now you paying for it. You thought you could have an alternative like a Jaime Munguia. Nope, sorry. You thought Canelo gave a fuck about you. Nope, sorry. You should have fought Andre. That's what you should have did. That's what you should have did. Because these motherfuckers really, like, yo, you're not a star, Simon Phoenix. You're not a star. You're not in a position where you could be like, nah, I don't need that fight. Canelo might be in a position like that, but you not. So you need to fight in the meaningful fights that you can't have. I understand that Gennady Golovkin contributed to this division stagnating, because he did. If the biggest name in the middleweight division is inactive for 12 months, what does that say about the middleweight division? It's stagnant, right? So he has his blame that you have to assign to him. But is your whole career about Gennady? No. Wasn't there another unification match you could have had besides the one with him? Yes. And what you did with that? You wiped your ass with it. You tried to act like that shit wasn't important. Like nobody want to see that. For you telling people that nobody want to see Andre, who the fuck you think want to see you versus a guy he beat? That shit don't make no sense. Appreciate that, Ronald. those guys you see on Twitter, which is why I don't like, I really don't like, bro, a lot of those guys don't buy shit, first off. I'd be surprised if a lot of those guys even have premium cable, to be real with you. I would be surprised if a lot of those guys ain't shacked up in somebody's fucking house, being real with you. I could say I'm the head of my household. The bills in my house come in my name, right? Them guys on Twitter, they can't say that. They can't. I'm telling you, they can't. That's why I'm like, why the fuck am I arguing with man children? Brody, you don't buy pay-per-views. I do. You don't fucking have premium cable. You got a Fire Stick. You know what I mean? You don't got a Showtime subscription. Yes, like why am I talking to you? You're not even a fucking customer. The fuck I look like 100 comments later arguing with you bums. You know what I mean? Fuck out of here, B. Shit is childish. The only motherfuckers that really care enough to argue about Charlo's career are guys that don't pay for boxing. Well, I don't need to worry about what the fuck y'all think about boxing. Nobody does, because it don't turn into money. At least if a promoter were to come to this channel and listen to me complaining, well, I'm a customer. You know what I mean? Product review. These motherfuckers ain't customers. Ask them to show you the receipt for Charlo versus Rosario. I could pull up mine easy peasy because they send you an email when you make the purchase. Ask these motherfuckers that love the Charlo brothers so much if they bought that pay-per-view. Fuck I look like arguing with these cats, man. That's why I don't like doing that shit anymore. I don't like that. Oh, I'm gonna just be debating with you when, listen, bro, the world don't give a fuck what you think about boxing unless you paying for boxing. They don't care. The fuck, how the fuck you look like reviewing a product that technically you stealing? Like the fuck? You gonna do a product review on a product you don't even purchase? Shut the fuck up, fam. Be quiet. I'm saying, like, this shit is well out here, B. I'm like, nah, man, listen. The fight he should have had was Andre. Many of you have heard me beating that drum for well over a year, 2-3 years, that, yo, that's the fight that he need, because Canelo don't need you, I'm sorry to say, but Canelo don't need you. It's champions from 168 to 175 that want to get it on with him. He don't motherfucking need you. Golovkin don't need you. They gave that man 14 M's to fight Steve Rose, bro. He obviously don't fucking need you. So if you know that it's going to be hard to get those guys in the ring, the best thing you can do is take out the other competition. Who's the other competition, or who was? Andre. He got a belt like you. He's unbeaten like you. He's a 2-division champion like you. You should have took him out. Nah, you want to fight Montiel. Nah, you want to fight Sergey. And motherfuckers pump faking like that's a big win. Listen, Daniel Jacobs took Sergey's O. And Daniel Jacobs put Sergey on his back pocket, right? So if you didn't think that was a big win, why the fuck would Charlo fighting him 2-3 fights later be a big win? This shit don't work. And that's why motherfuckers don't leave that Twitter echo chamber to come on here and shoot the shit. Because they know when you actually got to say that shit, you going to realize how fucking stupid a lot of y'all sound. Daniel Jacobs not only took Sergey's O, he put him on his ass in that fight. And he did that first. So if you didn't think that that was a big win, and you don't think much of Daniel Jacobs, how the fuck you here trying to blow smoke up my ass about Jamal? Danny did it first. Charlo about to beat Gary. Yo, I don't get, man. Listen, man. It's simple, B. You either entertaining the masses or you not. It's simple. It's not complex. You are either putting on fights and being in fights that people want to see, or you not. It's not my fucking job to feel sorry for you. What the fuck? Like, what are you trying to turn boxing into that every other day you got to jump on Twitter or jump on YouTube? Bro, I don't got to fucking feel sorry for Charlo. They offered you $7 million to box Andre. I don't got, why the fuck would I feel sorry for you? Canelo won't fight Charlo unless it's for stupid money. Canelo knows he's not worth it, but will milk PBC knowing that they want that fight. Well, here's the other angle of that. Oscar De La Hoya, and I believe him, they offered Charlo to fight. This illusion that there's something about Charlo that Canelo would avoid, it's one of the craziest things in boxing to me, because Canelo has literally fought the fighters that Charlo won't fight. Charlo didn't fight Danny Jacobs. Canelo did. Charlo didn't fight Erislandy Lara. Canelo did. You tell me who on Charlo's resume is better than Triple G. Canelo boxed him 2 times for 24 rounds. All right? The idea that people really walking around thinking, yeah, Canelo don't want it with Charlo, that shit is mind-boggling to me, because I'm like, yo, who the fuck did Charlo fight that you so impressed with him? I need to know. Who did he fight that you are so over the fucking moon with this guy? Who did he fight? I must have missed the shit. I must have. Shout out to my man Dennis. I buy all of them, sadly, even the crap PBC cards, just start for boxing. It was on twice a week in my day. Howard Cosell on Saturdays, ABC, yep. And it was better. It was better because that's when fighters fought. Motherfuckers understood. Yo, how you expect people to be excited about you and know about you? You're a fighter. You're not a musician to where you do a song once and then the radio gonna play it 100 times. This is not that dynamic, and this is why I say that Al Heyman is a music guy pretending to be a boxing guy. In the music industry, yeah, you cut the fucking record and the record is done, and the radio gonna play it 100 fucking times. The fight game ain't like that. How you expect people to talk about you when you don't even be fighting like that? And when you do be fighting, it's somebody that don't nobody give a fuck about. This is not the music industry, bro. The gimmicks and all that shit, it ain't gonna work, all right? Because what people want to see more than anything in this industry is fights. That's what they want to see. Like my man Mick Conlon and Lee Wood, they got it on last week. Balls to the wall with the shit. They got it on. That's what people want to see. And if you don't want to give them that, yo, you might as well get in another profession. If you don't want to give them that. If you don't aspire to be part of epic fights, like, because that was an epic fight. That was a modern classic. Americans don't fucking have to like it. Americans don't spend that much money on boxing anyway. The truth. That was an epic fight. That was a modern classic. That's a fight that people gonna remember. You think people are gonna remember Charlo versus Montiel? You think that shit? You struggling to get people to care that you fought Derevianchenko. There's a few, D-Quest. There's a few. There still is Tyson Fury versus Dillian White. I think that Anthony Joshua versus Joe Joyce is a meaningful fight. I think that's a meaningful fight. It's more than just those. I'll put it that way. It is more than just those. What about Kazuto Ioka versus Juan Francisco Estrada? You know, that would be a meaningful fight. Or Kazuto Ioka versus Chocolatito. That would also be a meaningful fight. So there's still meaningful fights scattered around. Stephen Fulton versus MJ Akhmadaliev. Meaningful fight. Kenichi Ogawa versus a guy like Jamel Herring. Or Kenichi Ogawa versus one of the other champions at 130 pounds. There are fights out there. Meaningful ones. Wood versus Conlon made me proud to be from fucking Nottingham. Shit made me proud to be from Nottingham, yo. Shit was dope, man. And I told motherfuckers that's going to be a good fight. I'm excited about that fight. That's going to be a good fight. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers want the reaction for a Wood versus Conlon for a fucking Charlo versus yo, it ain't going to work, bro. It ain't. Ain't enough guilt trips and whataboutisms in the world that's going to make that kind of matchmaking exciting. It's not. Nobody want to see that shit. And if you can't go in there and blast that guy out of there, a guy like that, that shows us what you are. That you all hype, bro. You hype. You know what I'm saying? Shit is crazy out here. And it killed me before I even leave this subject. It just kills me that no attention is going into Carlos Adames being a PBC fighter, fighting on their affiliate networks, and even he did not get the fight. So you got more money for a Munguia than an Adames, huh? But you want to lay guilt trips on motherfuckers on Twitter, want to lay guilt trips all day, all day. I'm just wondering, yo, if Adames is number 2 and number 1 just stepped out, then why is number 2 not being offered the fight? Why y'all offering it to this dude? We know why. We know why. Napoli says, I see Lee Wood fight in the Warrington Kiko winner than a Mando for Leo Santa Cruz, realistically. Bro, I don't know what Leo gonna do. Yo, I'm gonna let Alexis in on the chat, so I don't want to see 10 people in the back. The link is for Alexis, because I'm trying to keep the number of panelists a little low. Click that link, Alexis. Gutted for McKinson. He was willing to throw the dice, come what may. Yeah, that's disappointing, but we got Edgar Burlonga versus Steve Rolls. You never know. Steve might shock the world. You never know. If fucking, what's this guy's name, man? This guy, the one that dropped Burlonga in his last fight. What was the guy Billy Joe Saunders fought? If he could put Edgar on his back pocket, you never really know. Gary Russell Jr. was an Al Heyman fighter and never got any of the fights he wanted. Thank you, Chris. That's what I've been saying. All these people that think that Crawford had to bow and bend and, oh, you should have signed with the PBC for fucking what, bro? For what? Gary never got the fights that he wanted. Motherfucking Adames is number 2, and he not even getting a title shot. They giving it to Suyeki. I think it's crazy that more people aren't talking about that, but that's why I'm talking about it. So hopefully people will take that information and evaluate it. That how is it that Adames is number 2 behind Munguia, but he don't get offered the fight? They go all the way down to like fucking number 8 or number 9. Offered to this guy. Where you at? This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, all right. They went to number 6. My bad. That shit is crazy. Then what the fuck you over there for? If they ain't gonna do you no favors, then what the fuck you over there for? And these is the same guys that tell, yeah, Crawford should have signed to the CBP. He should have signed to the CBP. For what? So he can end up like Adames, or so he can end up like Gary Russell? For what? What? So he can end up like Wilder, getting the shit beaten out of him in a cherry pick. You know what I'm saying? It's because they want Charlo to win, move up, then get Adames a belt after. Yeah, I know, and that's the kind of soft matchmaking, right? Those kinds of plans are the reason they have no stars. If you don't make fights that are intriguing, people not gonna fucking care. It's not a complex formula. If you don't make fights that people care about, they're not gonna fucking care, bro. Motherfuckers don't want to see you with no Suyeki. Who the fuck want you think an old motherfucker like me that gets sleepy? You think I want to see that shit? I don't. That's what I'm saying, coach. That's what I'm saying. Man, Adames wasn't offered the fight, and he's ranked number 2. This shit, yo, coach, what was we talking about? What was I saying? They're like, yo, dog, like, it seemed to me that y'all very selective how y'all spend the bread. That's what I see. Oh, you got money for Munguia, but you don't got no money for Haney. Oh, you got money for Canelo, but you don't got no money for Crawford. I see what the fuck I see. That's what I see. I see what the fuck I see. Motherfuckers really gonna sit there and act like Al Heyman is Al Sharpton. No, he not. All right. No, well, actually, Yes, he is. You know what I'm saying? Shit. Shit is crazy, B. How the fuck y'all got money? So you telling me you had money for Jaime Munguia, but Showtime has no money for Devin Haney versus Javante Davis? Y'all don't have no money for that, but you got money for Munguia though. Ain't that about a bitch? Ain't that about a bitch? I got you. I'm about to. Yo, I don't want to see 10 people backstage, man. I don't know, bro. I'm about to do a video about that, LT. I am about to do a video about that because it's my understanding that Vasyl Lomachenko is trying to find a way around the current protocols so that he can begin training camp. I got a lot of thoughts on that, but I can't give you conclusive answers. You know what I'm saying? How the fuck you got money? So you telling me that you got money for Jaime, but you don't have money for a homegrown American champion with a belt? That tells me all I need to know about what you think. That tells me all I need to know. These jokers on it, if they not complaining, Floyd got everybody thinking they gonna be rich by his. They really do, because that's the sales pitch. How you think Al Heyman get all these guys to fall in line? He start talking about, well, look what I did. Man, listen, man, everybody not gonna be Floyd, bro. Matter of fact, 99.9% of guys ain't gonna be Floyd. So telling a motherfucker about Floyd, that should already raise red flags. Like, bro, of course you gonna say Floyd. How many other motherfuckers did you make successful is what I want to know. If it's so easy to turn motherfuckers into Floyd, where's the next one? Because I don't see him. What, is it the guy that flipped the Ferrari? Is he the Floyd? Because, hey, look, that dude is not no spring chicken. Ain't Arrow like 31 or some shit? Tank ain't no Floyd. Tank ain't no motherfucking Floyd. Has anyone actually seen Heyman? He's a weird cancer. Yo, that's what the fuck he is, B. That's what the fuck he is. Motherfuckers will sit there all day saying Crawford should have went through the CBP. For what? So he can end up like Gary Russell or Carlos Adames. For what? Fuck is y'all talking about? Look at the schedule. If Jamal Charlo is a quote unquote premier boxing champion, why the fuck he only fought once last year? Is that why Crawford should have went over there? So he could fight only once a year? Or so he could fight guys like Suliecki? Trying to tell y'all, man, the shit don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. But I said it last week. That shit, you got all these resources, right, to try to entice Canelo to come to your side. You got all these resources, and apparently you could find money to get Munguia in the ring. You know, you'll pull the resources for him, but you won't pull no resources for Devin Haney. PBC is all about favoritism, which is ridiculous. No, PBC is a music guy who is out of his depth, doesn't know what he's doing, and he doesn't know how to sell fighters. I've been saying that for a minute. Like, bro, this is not the music industry where you could cut a record and then, you know, you take the rest of the year off or whatever. Like, nah, you got fighters. They got to keep fighting. And also, it has to be in fights that people want to see. Now, I'm not saying that if you have, 3 fights a year, that all 3 fights got to be killers. 2 of the fights could be filler fights. 2 of them. 1 of them got to be against somebody good. If you do it that way, yeah, it'll work. But you don't want to do that. Shit is crazy. Literally gonna fight a dude that motherfucking Andre fought, and I'm supposed to sit here and argue about his career? You wildin'. Let me see who Debo is. All right, that's Debo #MOB.
What's up, player? Hey, I ain't gonna lie. I really came on the panel because, bro, why you got this Charlavos Monguio shit up? You know they not fighting.
Nah, I like the from a aesthetic point of
Aesthetic.
view. It's a nice poster, and it would have been a
It
great
would.
fight.
It would. And I was looking so much forward to it, man. I was like, yeah, Jamal finally gets a good name. You know, people can start complaining about who he's fighting. Then shit just falls apart and he's fighting fucking
Well,
salami.
so-
He's fucking fighting
he said
salami,
he's
man.
fighting
And
fucking
and no
Suzuki, bro.
disrespect to salami, because I'm a fighter myself. You know, I did some backyard fights, so I already know what come with the game. So I gotta, you know what I'm saying, start calling fighters trash and shit,
Nah, but
man.
but we gotta
But
be
damn,
honest. This
bro.
this this the thing. This the thing, right? For 2.5 years, really 3, I seen Charlo turn his nose up at Andre, and I'm like, why the fuck he doing that? That's a fight that I actually want to see. I want to see that fight.
I
I've been
think,
wanting
and
to
I
see.
mean, you know, just and me just outside looking in, because I don't know none of these niggas personally, or not these boxers. You know, I know a couple other boxers personally, but not these. But I just feel like the fact that Boo Boo probably did bad business, because you know he was supposed to fight Jamel
I
a couple
know,
years ago. So
but see,
I
this
think
is
that
the,
I think that probably left a, you know what I'm
no,
saying?
it
They
did.
like,
Listen, it probably did, right? But this is what I'm gonna say. This is the main thing, right? That was Mel. That was Mel that he was supposed to fight. I remember
and
the
they
whole story.
twins. You feel me?
That was Mel. But this is what I mean. The fight with Mel, when you put together Andre purse for that fight, right? And you put together Mel purse for that fight, it wasn't even $1 million. Like it really wasn't even $1 million. Now, what they offered Maul was 7 for Maul, just Maul. Like that's just your purse. Feel me? So it don't make business wise, it don't make no sense to me. Like, yo, dog, all that shit with Mel ain't got nothing to do with the 7 M's they willing to give you. And we know that the money is good because Mikey went over there. Danny Jacobs went over there. The money's over there, you know what I mean? Canelo over there. So yeah, the
Yeah,
money
I mean,
real.
I'm just trying to see, you know, I'm just trying to give a little bit of reason as a boxing fan why they not fighting. Then the Zone and PBC don't be getting along neither.
They
I think
don't,
that's
but that's
another reason too.
they don't. But I'm gonna say this: the Zone and Top Rank don't get along. But Top Rank still sent Jose Ramirez
And
over there
and that
because
and that's why to this day, right now, I'm already on record saying shit. Bob Arum and Top Rank, they the best promotional company now. Like when it comes to like the promotional company, Top Rank and Bob Arum is where it's at. As far
listen,
as everybody else I'm seeing.
when you look at their grooming process, right? Straight out the Olympics, straight out of the Olympics, Keyshawn Davis and his brother, the Spanish kid that looked like motherfucking Nick Jonas, they don't sleep over there. They on it. The next wave of fighters, they already got them. Jared Anderson, Keyshawn Davis, his brother, and the Torres kid. And they got that
Keyshawn
Italian.
Davis got a brother, and I'm from VA. He, you know, he
He get
what
yeah, he got a brother,
we
and they
love
signed.
we love Keyshawn Davis out here, man.
He got a brother, and they signed them both as a package deal. So
Hmm.
I'm like, they already got the next wave of guys
Is
that's
he
gonna try.
younger than
Nah, he
Keyshawn?
older. He older. He
Um,
older.
so
And really,
Keyshawn probably threw him in that bitch for the package deal. I think that's probably the same thing Ryan Garcia did with his brother Sean. You know, Sean, his other younger brother, he signed the Oscar too.
and he ain't gonna get no fucking shine over there because it's a lot of things with
I
Golden
mean,
Boy.
shit, I don't think Sean even cares as long as Ryan keep doing this thing.
I
Shit.
mean, long as he got a lot of followers on Instagram, that's what really matters.
You talking about as far as Ryan?
I'm talking about his brother, B.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Well, shit.
I can't knock the hustle. You feel me? I
Nah,
can't
what I'm
knock
gonna
it.
what I'm gonna say is, look, Top Rank is on it. The grooming process they got is the best grooming process in the business. And to some extent, we know that, look, Top Rank is willing to do fights with Golden Boy because they have, you know what I mean? Or with Golden Boy fighters because they have. To some extent, they're willing to do fights with everybody, really, because the Wilder fight, you know, that was Top Rank PBC. Lomachenko versus Linares, that was Top Rank versus Golden Boy. Motherfucking the shit we seeing now with Dillian White and Tyson Fury, that's Top Rank Matchroom again. So
Yeah.
you see that, yo, fights is happening, that when balls to bone, fights is getting made. But I'm like, if you know that Canelo got a million options, and you know that Gennady Golovkin, he don't give a fuck about shit no more. He only fighting for the bag. He don't give a fuck about shit no more. If you know
That's
that,
not true. Cause he, Shit, Triple G should have been fought. That's another dude should have fought
But
Charlo. Man.
now hold on. This is what I'm gonna tell you. Why I say that. Yo, he sat out all last year. He sat out the whole year waiting for the Japanese guy, right? Now I've been saying it. The Japanese guy is a bigger money fight than any other fight except Canelo. That's a bigger money fight.
Shit, not bigger than Charlo.
Yes, it is.
Nah, I don't think
yes,
so.
It is. Yes, it is. I'm trying.
Charlo got a bigger fan base than that.
No, he don't. Charlo don't have 30 million people watching his fight.
So Mariota got 30 people, 30 million. Japanese people are faithful. I ain't gonna lie, they love.
I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, you might have a point. And you know what I'm basing this off of? That fucking Floyd and Tenshin fight. Remember he fought Tenshin?
Tenshin Nasukawa.
Yeah, he Japanese, ain't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
Now what? Now listen. Think
nobody in America knew who he was, but in Japan,
they knew who.
Star.
Now think about this shit. You got Floyd Mayweather getting a passport out to go to Japan to fight a guy. That tell you everything you need to know about the money. Would he go over there if it wasn't no money over there?
Nah, hell no.
Golovkin the same shit. Murata has a ridiculous fucking fan base. 30 million people to watch him fight Blandamura.
Who is he signed to?
He signed to the promoter, I believe it's Taken Promotions, and they are like, Chocolatito's co-promoted. He co-promoted by Matchroom and Taken. Juan Francisco Estrada, same shit. Taken.
I gotta look up Taken. I ain't never heard of him.
They've been around. They've been in the game for a long time, but most Americans don't know them.
You know a new promoter I'm liking? I feel like he gonna make some waves in the game. I mean, he already making waves, but I feel like he can really solidify his spot in this game. Ben Shalom, I'm starting to respect.
Oh yeah. I agree with that.
I like Ben Shalom.
I agree with that. I do, and he got like we gonna talk about Ben because I think that Ben is gonna end up giving Eddie a run for his money better than Frank. That's what I see.
I've been saying, and a lot of them UK guys, they agree with me. I said Ben Shalom, the next up in UK, he taking over.
Because he got Sky. The main thing is that even though Ben don't got the stable yet, he got Sky to help him sell it.
He got some fighters now, though. He got I ain't gonna lie, I think he overrated, but he got Josh Taylor. I can't knock Josh Taylor. He is undisputed at 140. I just feel like when he fights somebody, at 140 he comfortable. Like when other guys start moving up, or when he go to 147, them top guys, I feel like he gonna get beat.
Well, I mean, technically, he already got beat. If we gonna
and I was been saying he was overrated before that, Jack.
But I'm gonna say, look, I'm gonna say this, right? And being honest, it's not about making excuses. It's about understanding, right? The dude was coming off an injury. That's the first thing. The trainer that he switched to, I never thought much of Ben Davison. Like, I'm like, nah, the trainer you had was a better trainer, Shane McGuigan.
I don't know why people don't like Ben Davison.
It's not listen, it's not liking him. It's that you notice that you get fighters that is already the finished product. That's like Abel Sanchez and Gennady Golovkin. Bro, Abel didn't make Gennady that way. He was already that way.
I mean, it's a lot of trainers like that. Even though they get them somewhat as finished products, they still add on. Because I noticed with Ben, it's his fighters. Like I noticed a lot of his fight, they box. Like, and I even heard Tyson Fury. A lot of people saying why they split ways or whatever. But I seen an interview. He was like, man, I wish I could bring him back for this fight, just because how Dylan White fight.
Ben Davison ain't
shit. I
shit.
don't want to go on that aggressive shit, man.
I can't. Look, I'm gonna say this. It's like he on a good run. He on a good run because his fighters is. Let me ask you a question. If you seen Lee Wood versus Mick Conlon, right? Man, Lee Wood was losing that fucking fight, dog. He was getting outboxed. So I'm like, nah, man. I'm not going to say Ben is bad. I never say he's bad. I think he's overrated. It's like, yo, dog, you getting fighters that's the finished product already.
Nah, I get it though, but then it's like, if you say he overrated, how you feel about Sugar Hill? You think he overrated?
Nah, because Sugar Hill, this the thing. Sugar Hill don't get the shine that Ben get. So we can't say he getting overrated if he not getting the shine. You know what I mean? It's kind of like Manny Robles.
And I'm glad you point that, because that's where I get. That's where I come from when I say overrated. Like, I think a lot of people misconstrue when I say overrated, because just because I say you overrated don't mean you're not good. It's just that I don't think you on the level everybody else hyping you up on. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I say hype jobs too. Like, just because I say you a hype job don't mean you not as good as, you know, you're not good in anything you do. I just feel like the hype you getting, it ain't warranted, you know what I'm saying, on the level you on as far as fighting, you know what I'm saying? Or
Now, let me
anything you
say
doing
a
right.
hype job. If you ever hear me use the term, see, you could be overrated and still be good. Like Freddie Roach is overrated. He's a star trainer. Teddy Atlas was overrated. Star
And
trainer.
I feel like anybody I really name overrated is good, honestly. Well, me on
Yeah,
my behalf, if I say a guy overrated, he's probably good at what he
to a
do.
degree, to a degree. You know what I mean? But if I say hype job, all right, here's a hype job. Felix Verdejo was a hype job. I was never sold on him. Edgar Burlonga, he's starting to look that way.
And
Because
see, I might need to start coming this channel because I feel the same way
he's start,
about Burlonga. And I was feeling like this before the last fight he had.
he's starting
Yeah.
to look that way because when they put him in there before the last fight that he had, the fight that he had with the other dude, I forgot his name, man. He got like,
Damon Nicholson.
yeah.
And you know how I know
You
his
can
name?
see
Because that's my first name. My first name is Damon. So,
when
and it was
he was
funny when I see he fought. When I seen he was fighting a dude named Damon, I said, I already know he gonna win. I ain't gonna lie. He's tough. Don't get it twisted. But Lango's definitely tough.
but at a
But
certain
I was
look,
like, he got the name Damon. He gonna last. He gonna
I
fuck the
seen,
knockout
I
streak.
seen, I seen that he did the same thing with him that he was doing with the Argentinian dude that he did in the last fight. And it's like I could tell, yo, you looking for one punch to do him, and that shit is not always gonna work. Like
Not against some good boxers. Hell no.
and that's what happened.
The
Like
niggas with footwork. No.
the reason the knockout streak ended because the fight before last was the one where the quote unquote knockout streak. That's where that ended. And the reason it ended is because, well, you just throwing 1 and 2 punches at a time. Like that's you really looking for one punch to do them. You going to jab and bring over the right and jab and bring over you. That's all you doing. That shit is not going to work. Like, of course you got a knockout streak, fighting those guys. A lot of guys got records like that in the beginning. What made him a hype job? ESPN won't shut the fuck up about like, oh, he got a knockout streak. He got the knockout. Like, man,
then he got all the celebrities backing him too. You know what I'm saying? You got a nigga like Lil Wayne co-signing you. Yeah.
Now let me let in coach
You
on
know
the
what I'm saying?
conversation. Let me let in coach. You know what I mean? We see Adames is ranked number 2, right? And he is a PBC fighter. He signed to them a little over a year ago. He signed to the PBC after Top Rank dropped him. What's your interpretation of them having the money for Munguia, skipping Adames, and affording Suzuki to fight?
Can you hear me, Jules?
I can hear you.
Yeah, man. It's very funny to me. Like, okay, I get it. You know, these promotional companies, fans, supporters, fanboys, whatever, are all over the place, depending on which narrative you want to push, depending on which promotional company that you want to be pro for. You know, we view things through those eyes. A lot of them do. Then you have these objective people like me and you. I don't understand why Adames, because Jaime Munguia was the number 1 guy.
Mm-hmm.
His promotional company did not allow him to sign the contract. Oscar De La Hoya, he's at fault for that. Steven Espinosa pretty much said the same. It was Oscar De La Hoya, whatever the case may be. Some people saying Jaime Munguia is ducking and all that stuff there. I have no problem with none of that shit, whatever they want to say. But, okay, you're going to have to explain to me, how did you come to the conclusion that, what the dude named Sujeki?
Mm-hmm.
How did you come to the conclusion, like 2 minutes later, Jaime Munguia, Oscar De La Hoya made a video that, hey man, we just want to get more money, for the fighters, have the zone be a part of the deal because, they helped build, they built not Virgil Ortiz, built Jaime Munguia. It's only fair. And then 2 minutes later, literally the next day, you have, this is the fighter we're fighting. We have a fight date for him already. Okay, but what about Adames? Why didn't you just say, okay, number 1 guy's gone. Let's go to Adames. Hold on, Jules. Since Jaime Munguia is supposed to, allegedly, from what they're saying, is supposed to be mandated to fight the number 2 guy anyways, Adames. And he's a PBC fighter, right? And, not trying to, and he's a brother. Just want to throw that out there too. So, he a brother too now. So you skip the brother to go fight, quote unquote, no disrespect to my brothers and sisters from Europe, the Eurobomb, the guy who fought He fought Daniel Jacobs years ago, and he fought Andrade years ago. You see what I'm saying? Like the problem I have, Jules, is this. You've been in the middleweight division for 5 years, right? And either you have the worst luck in the world. I've been so unlucky. I have not been able to fight any unification bouts. It's been so unlucky. I have not been able to get other champions in the ring with
who
me.
you talking about right now?
You know,
Talking about Charlo.
I've been so unlucky through my 5 years in the middleweight division. Everybody's ducking me, this and that. Man, come on, man. I ain't trying to hear all that, bro. I'm just not trying to hear it. You could have gave the fight to Adames. Listen, where there's smoke, there's fire. There's a blueprint here. If you look at this guy's last 6-7 fights since he's been in the middleweight division, this is who he has been fighting. Let's be real.
Man, I thought Derechenko was a good win, though.
Hold on. Let me add this.
That's what really sold me on Jamal.
Let me add this to the conversation. Let me add this. See, this is what I see, all right? A good domestic rivalry, sometimes it's so good you don't even need a fucking belt. Sometimes, right? Charlo and Andre is rivals. That's what they are. Everybody fucking knows it. And if you would have put that fight on regular Showtime, I wholeheartedly believe, you do 1 million views with that fight because it's more accessible to the boxing fans. It's not behind a paywall because there's actually a story there. Tack on the boxing shit that, he's a champion. He's a champion. He's unbeaten. He's unbeaten. They both in their prime right now. All right. And they're both 2 division champions having moved up from junior middleweight. You got all the ingredients right there to do a good size fight so long as everybody's realistic. Now, what killed me about it is, okay, Tom Brown didn't want to pay for it. Before that, Eddie offered to pay for the fight. So you didn't want to let Eddie pay for it, and you don't want to pay for it. But you think we want to see Suzuki? You think we want to see Montiel? You talk about Daddy Bianchenko, let's talk about Daddy Bianchenko. I don't consider that a good win. Why? That man got dropped by Jacobs, and Jacobs took his that's the first thing. The second thing, when he fought, right before he fought, hold on.
Good, man.
Hold on. Before that same Sergey fought Charlo, who he fought before that? He fought Golovkin in a war. The type of fight that take years off of you. It take because you got hit a lot. He got hit a lot. You got hit a lot. You got dropped. You know what I mean? He sat out for a year after that. He sat on that loss. He didn't get a rebound fight. He didn't get an easy one after that. Straight in with Charlo. That's why I don't consider that a good win. Most fighters that the promotion is actually behind, they'll give you a little rebound fight. Like, all right, we get you back in the winner's bracket. We'll find you a guy, for you to get an easy W and then put you in something more interesting. He didn't get that. What he got was inactivity. That's it. Inactivity and straight in with Charlo. I don't consider that a dope win. And to me, for fighting people that Golovkin fought, fighting people that Munguia fought, and about to fight somebody that Andre fought, bro, you could have fought Andre. That would have been bigger than any of the shit you've been doing. It would have been bigger than that. So I don't got no more patience for him. Like I don't have it. Like, nah, bro. It's you. Yeah, the Munguia people fucked up that fight. I said that yesterday. The Munguia people fucked up that fight. I got shit for him. Like, bro, like you got fucking damn near 40 fights, bro. The fuck? That's a lot of fucking fights.
Jules.
Go ahead.
Jules, you're right about that. I got a whole new can for Jaime Munguia because I have a motto. You're not going to tell me a guy that has 39 wins, 31 knockouts. He's a knockout artist, as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean? You're not going to tell me this guy, Jaime Munguia, 39 wins, 31 knockouts, him and Jamal Charlo. Jamal Charlo has 32 wins, 22 knockouts. They have 71 wins combined between the two. They're 71-0, and they have a combined record of 53 KOs. But as it relates to Jaime Munguia, you're not going to tell me this guy that's a knockout artist, 39 wins, 31 KOs. Oh, he's not ready. No, he ready. No, his ass ready. No, because if he that goddamn good, he should be able to get in there with any of the other champions, the Andrades and stuff like that, and fight them and knock them out, or at least fight them. Unless you're telling me he has a padded record.
Yep.
Oscar like milking niggas, man.
Wilfredo Benitez was how old when he won his first title?
17.
17. Mike Tyson was how old when he beat
20.
Trevor Burbick?
20.
You know what I mean? So this shit. That's why you always hear me say that bullshit stop when you win a title. Jaime won a title already at junior middle. He fought Liam Smith. You know what I mean? He fought a former champion too. It's at the end of the day, like I'm gonna say, this is what I believe. Feel free to disagree. Jaime probably wants to fight. That's what Stefan Espinoza saying. Like, nah, Jaime wanted to fight. He accepted the terms. Golden Boy fucked it up. Yeah, that sounds about right. That sound about right. Because y'all don't want to put Jaime in nothing because y'all don't have the bodies to spare. Your stable is not as big as Matchroom. It's not as big as Top Rank. I dare say it might not even be as big as the PBC stable. You can't afford for you and your business, the way Oscar looking at it. Nah, I don't want him to go out there and take an L. But I say, fuck it, do it. Why? Mexican boxing fans don't care about unbeaten records. When the fuck did they start caring? They don't care about that shit. They just want to see a motherfucker get out there and fight. That's all they care about. So this whole shit that I gotta protect them and I gotta put like, nah, Mexican boxing fans don't go for that shit.
By the way, Jules,
you got a
I
point,
got
but
a
you know why, man?
question.
Floyd Mayweather, man. Floyd fucked the game up, man. Floyd.
Yeah, but that's more. But that's more. Before I pass it to Jay, that's more American. That's more of an American thing than a Mexican thing because look at the kid at 175.
Wait,
look at the kid.
Culture, though.
Look at the
dictate the culture of Americans.
Nah, because they not the ones buying the fights.
Yeah,
they not the ones buying the fights.
Everybody be jocking our style, man.
They not the ones buying the fights. Who's the biggest draw in America right now? Is it an American fighter?
No.
Oh, you ought to know the answer to that.
You know what I mean? Now this is what I'm saying. You got a kid at 175, Zerto Ramirez, unbeaten record. What the fuck is that doing for his sales? Nothing. Because Mexicans don't care about that shit. They know who the fighters are. They know which is the good fights. So you don't need to protect Jaime from the smoke. At some point, you got to be willing to gamble because you don't even have nothing for him anyway. What fight Oscar gonna put him in that was as good or as interesting as that fight? What do you got? Demetrius Ballard rematch? Gabe Rosado rematch?
It comes to my. It's quantity over quality.
Basically. Now I'm gonna let me read this super chat. Being from Nottingham, I can't describe how proud I am of Lee Wood. Fantastic and memorable fight. Yes, it was. New Country says morning. It's a travesty that Charlo versus Munguia are not fighting right now. The thing is, Munguia running out of options. Too bad about Ortiz, but do you think it will be a recurring problem for him? The prognosis, if for those that are suspicious, or if you're gonna take the story at face value like me, I'll take it at face value, right? The prognosis for that condition, so long as it's caught in time, is very positive. So he should make a speedy recovery because they caught it. That's if you believe them. Some people don't. I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah, I just hope he gets a speedy recovery.
Hold on. It's Virtuoso turn.
Yeah, I just wanted to say this, man. It's like this is really unfortunate, and this is why boxing is losing fans. It's just you have two undefeated fighters, right? And they're being moving up ever so slowly, right? Now, Charlo doesn't have enough time, and he's 30. He's gonna be 32 this year, right? Wasn't Suliecki the type of fighter that a lot of American fans or Canelo haters been bemoaning that he's been fighting? Mm-hmm. But this is a byproduct of why the other guy doesn't get to fight him, is because you have backers that care more about their bottom dollar than enticing the fans. And I cannot wait any much longer for these two to make a move, because they've not shown the moxie or to have control over the careers and say, look, I'm gonna leave the stable for a moment just to fight this guy, because I know my legacy is on the line. I know that behind that win there's gonna be more money. I'm gonna be more marketable, but they don't think like that. They want to be spoon fed. They want to stay there and be what's the word I'm looking for? They want to be comfortable, and I don't think that's how you gain fans. That's just not.
Let me say this. I take it back to Al being a music guy. You can't treat boxing like that. Boxers come and go. So no boxer until he proves that himself, until he with his fights and his victories separates himself. You can't act like he too good to gamble. You know what I mean? Like, yo, with Charlo, yeah, you gotta gamble, bro, because you fucking 30, you about to be 32, fam, and you really ain't been in a big fight. With Jaime, bro, you 25, you got 39 fights. You held the belt at 54. You're not a baby. They need to take him out the stroller. Make the
Bro,
fucking fight.
isn't Saddam Ali the only world champion he's beaten?
Basically. That's who he won the
God
belt
damn.
from. That's 40 fights, and Saddam Ali is the only champion.
Undersized Saddam Ali.
He a fucking welterweight. He a fucking
Bruh,
welter. He won a
that
belt
was-
from the old ass Cotto. I ain't forget he won a belt when Cotto dislocated his shoulder. He took the belt off of Cotto. That was Cotto's last fight. But everybody knew Saddam Ali wasn't a big punch at 47, let alone at 54. And the only reason you won that from Cotto is because Cotto about to retire. Cotto, that was his swan song. That was his last fight. You know what I mean? The shit is childish. It's like, yo, dog, like Jaime Munguia is about 6 feet tall, 25 years old, 39 pro fights, over 30 knockouts or 30 knockouts. When the fuck do you decide, like, yo, we got to put this kid in a real fight? They can't all be experienced fights. We got to put them in a real fight. And if it got to be over there, the main thing is you don't have an alternative for him at Golden Boy. What's the alternative? What you going to do? Who you gonna get him to fight? You know you don't want to fight.
Too cautious,
You know you don't want to fight Yanni Beck. You know you don't like that was the first set of negotiations. Well, not even negotiations because they didn't negotiate. They pulled out of that shit before they pulled out of any of this shit. They like, nah, we good. We don't want the W. Oh, so you don't want
the so quick,
fast as fuck. It's a reason for it. Now, to me, throw the whole division away. Munguia, Chalk, just keep Yanni Beck.
Now, from what I saw your last video, you said that they're not gonna this wasn't even gonna be a pay-per-view.
That's
So
what
I don't even know why
was.
the zone was trying to get in there. Like
they wasn't.
Oscar
No, they wasn't. Oscar was. I told you, Oscar to me, he's bullshitting. Joe Markowski and the zone know we cannot put this as a pay-per-view. The zone themselves, the platform, they wasn't gonna do it as a pay-per-view. Oscar wanted them to do that, but Oscar know if I try to get the zone involved, that'll kill a fight because that's what he was trying to do. You trying to kill the fight, bro. You know you are. You trying to be slick with it. Like, oh yeah, the zone ain't asking to do that fight as a pay-per-view. You are.
Nah, man. And it's like this, man. If you beat him, then yeah, you could. There's room for a rematch in case there's a fucking terrible decision or a controversial decision. You get to bring him back on your side if you win. You get to call the shots, but they don't think like that. They're all about protecting the O around this kid.
Listen, Oscar, I don't know what they're gonna do with him, but this is what I know: the Mexican greats that ended up making money and all that shit. Oscar being one of them, which is wild. Oscar stayed the A side and a cash cow, a guy who could sell tickets for most of his career, even up until he fought Manny Pacquiao. Yeah, he was still selling tickets and getting money. You're not going to turn these fighters into that. Keeping them out of fights. Who the fuck make you think that people want to see Jaime and more of them same ass fight? Nobody want to see that shit. Nobody want to see that shit. Dimitri, I gave him I'm like, all right, Demetrius Ballard, fine, he unbeaten. But bro, you was supposed to take it up a notch a year and a half ago, really, because you not any old body. You had a belt and you defended it 5 times at junior middleweight. So he not no little baby like, oh yeah, he just a prospect my ass, bro. The dude legit had a belt.
He breaking up on my end too.
Yo, y'all can hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the dude had a belt at 54. He defended it 5 times. So he not a fucking child.
I mean, Joe's about like if I could refer back to something you were saying about Andre and Charlo, like being put on regular like Showtime. You remember back I want to say that I think honestly it could do more than like a million buys because like you remember Charlo and when they both had that doubleheader, they fought Tony Harrison and Matt Vickarbov. Did that do like over 2 million? Or was that like another card?
Yeah, but that was Fox though. It's different with Fox.
Right.
Fox is free TV.
Okay.
So yeah, like more than likely, if like let's just hypothesize Charlo fighting on Showtime now. The Fox deal, it don't look like Fox want to spend no money on boxing. We can see that because they don't even have a fucking schedule. Showtime does. So if they was gonna try to do Andre versus Charlo, more than likely it will end up on Showtime. But even on Showtime, yeah, I think that should have bring in 1 million viewers. I think it would.
Yeah.
Showtime got 35 million subscribers. You could get 1 million of them to watch that fucking fight. The
What
last
fight you talking about now?
Charlo Andre.
Maybe 1.5.
I think 1 million people watch them two fight.
Yeah, listen, man, listen. If 1 million
pay-per-view?
No, not 1 million. No, not 1 million buys. Not 1 million buys. Regular show. Look, this fight that they was trying to do with Munguia, right? The dude from Showtime said we wasn't going to do that as a pay-per-view. He said we wasn't going to do that as a pay-per-view. That's what he said. So, all right, if you wasn't going to do Munguia as a pay-per-view, then you don't need to do Andre as a pay-per-view. And on regular
how many views did
Showtime,
he get his last fight?
I think he got like a little over 300,000.
And what did Boo Boo do?
We don't get viewing figures for the zone fights. They don't do Nielsen TV media ratings because that's for TV.
But just based on how you feel, you think he's doing more numbers than Charlo?
Yes. Oh wait, do I think he's doing more? Potentially,
Yeah.
because this is why the zone is shown in 200 countries around the world. Showtime is not. Most Americans don't want to understand that the zone is shown in 200 countries around the world. Showtime does not have a foreign broadcast partner. It's not like Top Rank and Sky, where Top Rank fights in the UK get shown on Sky.
I don't think that fight does 1 million views.
I think it does 1 million views. As long as it's not a pay-per-view. As long as it's not a pay-per-view, you could do 1 million views on regular Showtime with that fight.
Because the backstory is there to do like all access episodes, documenting the fighters.
I mean, you could do that. You could do like a gloves. You could do like a gloves are off thing. You have the guys sit down with each other, talk shit. You got promoters got to promote at the end of the day. But if you telling me Demetrius Andre versus Jermall Charlo on regular Showtime, not a pay-per-view, yeah, I think you could do 1 million views with that fight. I do. The other thing is the fighters' teams need to be real. Demetrius, you're not a star. You're not a star, Charlo. You're not a star. None of you are. The only way we get a star is if you beat each other. Then we get a star because that's how Top Rank does it. Top Rank has their fighters. They put Oscar Valdez in that Burchell fight. I thought he was going to fucking lose. I really thought he was going to fucking lose. He come out with a highlight reel knockout. Next up, Shakur Stevenson. They're not matching him easy, if you notice. They're not matching him easy at all. I think Shakur going to beat him. But if he win, if Oscar win, yeah, you got to start, bro. This dude fucking knocked out Burchell. If he beats Stevenson, this kid's a star, bro. You ain't gonna make no star putting him in no shit show fights because that's what Charlo been in for how long now, and he's still not a star. Your numbers still look like doodle.
When's the last time Suliecki fought? Like, has it been like how long is it? Up to 2 years?
Wasn't it the Gabe Rosado fight?
Oh no,
where he got the Gabe Rosado fight where he got knocked down. You fighting guys, you fighting a guy that Gabriel Rosado dropped late in the fight. I'm like, yo, this can't be real. Can't be real.
I gotta look up when's the last time he fought. I'm curious now because like it's been a while because I remember I looked at his record and it's been a minute since he fought.
It's the Gabe Rosado fight, bro. I think it's the Gabe Rosado fight.
Hey, Jules, this is another thing, like with the Jermall Charlo situation and Jaime Munguia. You just hit the nail right on the head. Like these guys, they need each other. The Andrades, the Benavidez's, the Plants. Well, Plant got the bag with Caleb with Canelo. But you get what I'm saying though. Like you can create stars, like us boxing fans who've been watching boxing a long time. You understand that? Hey, listen, man. Sometimes you have these legacy-defining fights, even if you can't get the Canelo, but you have these career, I'm here, I've arrived type of fights. And you was you got to get it the hard way. You got to fight tough competition. You got to fight a tough guy who's going to bring the best out of you. Who's going to, man, you know what, I'm going through adversity in this fight, like a Hagler in John Mugabe. Going through adversity in this fight. I don't got hurt. One guy might have gotten knocked down. He came up, and he got up, rose from adversity, and he won the fight. Lee Wood last week. Lee Wood and you need fights like that. you can't keep, taking these safe picks for both fighters. Munguia and you just can't keep doing like what is the plan for Jaime Munguia? I hear what people saying. He's young, he has plenty of time. The dude has 39 fights, 31 knockouts. Do they plan on him becoming a champion in the middleweight division? Because he's turning down all of the championship fights. He does not want to fight. Well, his handlers, let me say this, his handlers does not want him to fight any champions. Listen. Okay, so is that the goal?
Listen,
that's not what Oscar De La Hoya did when he was boxing.
Coach, I think I know what it is. If I can interject real quick, I just got a hunch. Okay, so like, if they're having Jaime turn down like all these championship opportunities, these title fights, it could be that they're possibly maybe positioning him to win a vacant belt if he sticks around. You think?
Not because he's losing he's losing his position because he walked away from the WBO. So you lost your position with them. Now it's either going to be Yanni Beck versus Danny Dignam, or it's going to be Yanni Beck versus Esquiva Falcao of Brazil. So that's the WBO. The WBC, you just fucked that up. You pulled out on Charlo and you pulled out on the Eliminator. So you fucked that up. The other two belts, Gennady got them shits. I don't know what Munguia ranked with the WBA and the IBF are. I got to look at it, but I don't get the sense that he mandatory for those belts. I don't get the sense because he don't got no WBA title of any kind. He don't got like a little Reggie belt to get him in position to fight for the real one. What I see is Oscar Phil, as long as he could sell tickets locally, that's all he care about. He don't care about putting him in a title fight. He just focused on, we do a couple of fights in Texas or just close to the border or south of the border, he'll move tickets. But Mexican fans ain't like that, bro. They don't give a shit if you lose a fight. They still gonna watch you, but you making him look crazy right now. Like you making him look like he's scared of everybody because you don't want to put him in there with nobody. This shit is stupid.
He just wants he wants to put Jaime in spectacle fights, right? Just to boost his profile more or less. Like that's it.
Bro, what did Demetrius Ballard do for his profile? What did that do, bro? What did that do, bro? Yeah, I mean, like, look at Hagler.
I checked the IBF.
Hold on. Look at Hagler, right? Hagler had to go through hell and high water before he even got the sniff for a title. That was the mentor fight. That's before he even won a fucking title. No. Who was the guy that he fought for?
Vito he threw.
Antuofermo. Yeah. Right? So that's just him sniffing at it. How many fights did he have just sniffing for a belt? You got to put the work in, man. You got to have them fights. Now, if you know, and I said it at the top of the show, if you know Canelo, he got options all day. Not just you, he got options all day. Gennady, we know what he doing. He after the bag. That's why he fighting Murata, because he after the bag. That fight is being built in Japan. Don't believe me. Do the research because I did. That fight is being built as the biggest fight in Japan's history. He about to get a bag, right? He about to get a big bag. And then another big bag with Canelo. You got to be real with yourself. I'm not a star. I cannot afford to turn down Demetrius. I can't afford to do that. All right. And I'm going to say this also. If the difference between fighting Jaime and not fighting Jaime is going to the zone, go to the zone. One fight. You don't have options. Nobody wants to see you versus Suzuki. Nobody.
I mean, what is beating him? Like, it's just a sign to me that, like, just these Jamal, all these PBC guys, like the fights that they're taking, it's like they keep taking these fights, they're going to keep progressing. I mean, Tank, now Jamal. Who else is on the list that's going to keep taking? I mean, it's.
That's like if I give a guy $100,000. If I come back in a year and you ain't turned that into nothing, you did it to yourself. That's what Heyman had with that stable. You had a stable, believe it or not. Yeah, there was a time when all them guys was blue chip prospects, both the Charlo brothers and Spence and Davis, everybody. They was all blue chip prospects at one point. But when they separated from Golden Boy, that's when it started. That's when you saw Danny Garcia versus Ross Salka. That's literally when you seen that shit. That's when you see Danny Garcia versus Robert Garrett. That's when all of that shit
my stomach, man.
You could pinpoint that shit to by circa 2014, 2015. That's when that shit started. And it's like, yeah, I could give you a stable. I could get or you could steal a stable. That don't mean you know what to do with them. That don't mean that. You delayed a lot of the shit that needed to happen. Yeah, if you want Leo to be a star, right? Or you want Gary to be a star, you got to throw him in the ring and may the best man win. Because that's what people come to see. Nah, you going to keep Leo away from Gary and you going to feed him to Javante as if I'm going to give a fuck. Bro, that dude, what weight did Leo, because that was his
I think he was a bantam. I think he was a bantamweight when he debuted.
That was because he was a 4th division champ. So I'm like, bro, why they got Davis fighting this dude? This dude can't punch. He couldn't punch at 22. He couldn't punch at 26. He ain't going to punch at 30. I seen the Miguel Flower. Bro, like, nobody want to watch this guy. Now, if you want to put him in a fight that is a even fight, put him in there with Gary. At 26, they both had the belts. You got the WBA. He had the WBC. That I would, all right, now we cooking. Nah, you didn't want it. All right, well, then fuck you. I don't want to watch that shit.
Hey, Jules,
you know what? Oh, sorry, go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, sorry about that, AJ. Jules, you know what I noticed as well? These fighters, the PBC fighters, they're only fighting once a year.
Yeah.
So when these guys sit back and say, well, yeah, with the PBC, we making all this money over there. Really, they're not. They're fighting once a year.
Yeah.
So that money that you made, that $1.5 million that you made, is going to have to last you until a year next year around this time. Jamal Charlo fought last summer, June. I think June or July. Guess when he's fighting again?
June.
We was here last year about this. They rolled out Showtime rolled out the schedule, and then we saw Charlo fight against who last year? Who did he fight last year?
Montiel.
And we was just dog shitting him for that. So I'm like, man, what the fuck they doing with his career?
Listen,
and I'm like,
same shit.
The cycle. Listen, let me tell you what the cycle is, because it's so wild when you look at it, right? They make fights that people don't care about. As a result, the network that's giving you a budget, they decide if they even want to give you fight dates. Like, well, how much of a priority is PBC programming when it only brings in this kind of viewership? So you make fights nobody cares about, most people don't watch. The network sees that and they're like, oh, well, we're not going to give you a whole fuck ton of fight dates because don't nobody give a fuck about these fights. In turn, because your fighter was fighting in fights nobody give a fuck about, that's the only fights you can afford to make. So what is the solution? Cross the street. That's the solution. Yep. Cross the street. You do not have it. Look, you don't have the fight dates for him. You don't have the opponents. Let him go. If you can't do it yourself, if the difference between doing a fight and not doing a fight is a platform, bro, what do you have for him? Suzuki? Nah, send him to the zone for one fight. Just one fight. Just one.
Besides the fellas, speaking about speaking about the inactivity, I wouldn't be surprised if that's like in the Barrios fight. That was the only time we see Keith Thurman fight this year.
I wouldn't be surprised. Look, come on, man, come on. I said it about Benavidez. He probably gonna fight David Lemieux, right?
That's it. Fuck the rest of the year off.
I said this on the private chat. I'm like, yo, PBC is a retirement fund.
It is. That shit is a boarding school, man. Like that.
hey, Jules. And you know what I keep thinking about 3 years ago. 160 is my weight division. I want to unify. I want to get good looking in the ring. I want to bring it in Houston. I want to fight Canelo.
All that good shit. All that good shit.
If they're willing to come down to 160, we can make it happen.
Bro. I'm like, look, this is the wild shit, right? The network, and I'm hoping, I said this in yesterday's video, that I was like, look, Showtime just signed Jaron Ennis to a multi-fight deal. He is a Showtime fighter, not to be confused with a PBC fighter, because he's not one of Heyman's fighters, but he does fight on PBC cards. And I feel like Showtime needs to start flexing muscle that, look, we tried to make the Munguia fight, Charlo. After Suzuki, you have to fight David Benavidez. We're not going to keep giving you $1 million or 800. No. If you want to get paid, you need to get out there and fight David. It's that simple. We don't have nothing for you other than that. You do that, we'll pay you. And they need to start flexing that muscle with Danny Garcia, with Keith Thurman. Like, look, Keith, If you want like a million better, you got to fight Jaron Boots Ennis. Jaron gonna have to take the hit. He gonna have to take the a pay cut or whatever, because in that situation, Thurman would be the A side. The same applies to Danny Garcia. But to make a star, to make an omelet, you got to crack a couple of eggs. And what I see is Showtime is not flexing they muscle. Who's the PBC getting a budget from? Showtime, not the other way around. So you got to tell Al, yo, listen, Al, you need to throw either Danny Garcia or Keith Thurman in there with Jaron Ennis. And yo, look, we tried to do it for Charlo. We couldn't get it done. You need to match him against David Benavidez. Simple as. And the winner of that fight gets the winner of Plant versus Darrell. After David takes care of David Lemieux, we all know he's going to knock David Lemieux out. We all know that. Now, I mean, after that, the fight to make is Charlo versus Benavidez. Not Charlo versus Plant. I don't want to see that. Not right now. Not till Plant get out there and show me that he could still kind of do something, right? That's the fight. But Showtime, he like Stephan Espinoza just letting a lot of these guys chill because it seemed to me that you too cool with these guys, bro. You got to flex some muscle. Like, listen, we need programming, bro. I need numbers because if my programming don't do numbers, that's my ass on the line. All right. So you need to fight David Benavidez. That's what you need to do. And if you don't want to do that, okay, cool. Go somewhere else. Go. See if the zone don't offer you something or Top Rank, because we don't got nothing for you but some David Benavidez. That's what we got for you.
I wonder if the zone will actually like be willing to extend the offer to Charlo again. So this time he won't like renege on this shit, like saying he wants to take over 160.
I don't even know.
Because if he wants to do that,
he didn't get while see they didn't. People are idiots. You know what I mean? They didn't understand that now is the time to get because the getting is good. You had a multi-billion-dollar backed platform that's willing to spend big cash to bring over talent. But that was their debut in America. Now that they understand the market, better here, what a fight is projected to do in the American market. They're not throwing all the same money in America anymore. Don't you like you can see that they tightening up their wallet because before it was about making a splash. They made a splash. They signed a couple of fighters, but I don't even know that they're gonna give you that 7 anymore. I don't know that.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll probably give him 4 now. That's it. I see him giving
because
4.
they know what he's worth. He's been on pay-per-view since then. They know what he's worth. Like, bro, when we made you that offer, that was before you was on pay-per-view. We saw what your pay-per-view did. Even if the rest of the people out here don't know the exact number, you think they don't? Like, bro, we know what you're worth, and you're not worth 7. Not you by yourself. Andre versus Charlo is not a fight to where the pot should be anywhere close to 10. Reality is you got to value the pot lower so that the upside is easier to hit. And then if you hit the upside, okay, now we're cooking with rice. Now we're making money. But I shouldn't have to pay $10 million to get you two in the ring. Neither one of you is stars. The fuck are we doing? We just fucking off money? Nah, you wildin'.
Jules, you're right about that. To piggyback on what you're saying, because you hear these guys who defend the PBC. Yeah, these guys, they bet on themselves. No. What Jules just said is betting on yourself. You know what, dog? I'm really not that star yet. Like my YouTube channel's been hyping me up to be. I'm really not that guy. I understand this. What I'm willing to do, betting on yourself is okay. I'm willing to take less to have this legacy defining fight for me. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it's the biggest, but for me, I'm willing to have the legacy defining fight for me at the moment in time, because if I can beat this guy, I will bring so much attention to me, and the boxing public will say, you know what, I got to give him props for that. I have to give him credit for that. It'll raise my stock, raise my value. You know what I mean? But in order for me to do that, I have to be willing to gamble on myself and take this tough fight for less money instead of trying to get a whole bunch of money in order to take less risk, which it really hurts you because no one wants to watch the fight. That's one. And then 2, PBC not going to continue to pay you $2 million or $3 million 3-4 times a year fighting C-level competition. No, this is what we're going to do, baby boy. We're going to pay you this $1.5 million Give this pack of annihilators some lemon heads. You see what I'm saying? Some lemon heads, Boston baked beans, and we'll holler at you next year around this time and to do the same thing. And that's what they're doing.
This the thing. Any business that is a business, you got to invest. Like, for example, content creators invest in editing software. They invest in laptops, microphones, microphone filters. It takes money to make money. You know what I mean? So you put together a fight like Demetrius Andrade versus Jamal Charlo. Takes money to make money. Take the $2 million, because I would value the fight. Honestly, I would say the guarantees for the both of them shouldn't be more than $2 million a piece. It's not a bigger fight than Porter versus Spence. You feel me? Like, it's not a bigger fight than that. It's in that same realm to where, okay, that should be the pot. The pot should be $4 million. It could possibly do better business than that, but we shouldn't gamble that much. This should be the pot. You got to take a hit. That's gambling on yourself. They're like, I'm gonna win this fight. I ain't worried about this fight. Let's do it, and I'm gonna get out there and show out. These guys are so nervous about shit, they don't want to do fights like that. Okay, well, unless you invest, it's never gonna happen. You're never gonna make this guy a star. Not fighting Suzuki, not fighting Montiel, you fought Sergey, and what the fuck did that do? Nobody cares.
You call him man Suzuki.
Suzuki. He deserves to be called Suzuki because he hasn't fought anyone that he hasn't beaten anyone that would consider him a threat.
Yeah, I mean, like Aaron Baker says, hot take: Maciej Suzuki would be the best fighter on Jaime Munguia's resume. No, he wouldn't. Liam Smith would. Liam Smith was a former champion. Suzuki was not.
Well, assuming that Sulieki stuns the world, yeah, he'll probably be.
Snaps! Hey, fellas, y'all remember whatever his name, Suzuki was gonna fight Munguia last year, right? Y'all remember that? But he pulled out.
I remember.
Yeah, and Zarameta replaced him instead. Yeah. Anybody know why he pulled out? I can't recall.
I think, didn't he get injured? Wasn't that the reason he pulled out? He had like an injury or some shit?
Okay. I couldn't remember what it was. I thought it was just odd. That's all. I mean, the fight was coming up, and I just thought it was just the timing was a little just suspicious. That's all. I'm
gonna say the only two promoters that are actually promoting, right? That are actually building events, not just putting them together. Because at this point, Top Rank doesn't promote as much as I think they can. But Ben Shalom is promoting. Yes, he's selling events. Eddie Hearn is promoting. He's selling events. It's not just financing the fight. Afterwards, you have to sell it. Don't just make a poster. You have to sell it. You got to get people excited, however, in whatever way you can. And you can't promote a fight like Charlo versus Suzuki. And God only knows what rickshaw driver they gonna get for Munguia. Like, bro, who is this man gonna fight? It ain't nobody left. It ain't nobody left.
That's
what's gonna happen with Carlos Adames?
Whatever hate these Canelo haters have for Canelo should redirect it to Munguia. But I hate to say this, but Danny Dignam, that's a Eurobomb.
Listen, Yanni Beck is about to fight Danny Dignam because this is the thing that's not being said. Munguia walked away from Yanni Beck, and we thought it was okay because he's walking away from Yanni Beck for Charlo. I'll take it. No, now you're not fighting none of them. Not fighting Yanni Beck. You're not fighting Adames. You're not fighting. It's a lot of layers to this motherfucking shit. You also have to wonder what happens to Carlos Adames now, because I don't hear nothing about a potential fight date for him.
His fight with Sergey, that was a final eliminator, was it not?
Yeah, no, that was an eliminator. This was going to be the final eliminator. This was going to be the final with Munguia. And initially, it wasn't supposed to be Munguia versus Charlo. Initially, it was supposed to be Munguia versus Adames in a WBC final eliminator. Showtime decided to hit the gas and offer Munguia the title shot straight away. For obvious reasons, they feel it'll do better business. That's why they did that. And I understand that, but then what's the benefit for Adames? What's the benefit of being a PBC fighter just for you to get passed over?
Well, since Jaime walked away from Charlo and Adames, I'm guessing that they'll just probably find somebody else for Adames to fight in another eliminator, would they not?
Well, look at let me show you the ranks, bro. Let me show you the ranks, and you'll see what the problem is. Look at how the ranks stack up. So behind Adames, you got Chris Eubank Jr. Chris ain't gonna fight him. Chris is not gonna fight welterweights. Chris is not gonna fight him. Then you see Yanni Beck. Yanni Beck is already en route to fight for the WBO. He ain't gonna fight
Yeah.
you. Sergey, you already fucking fought Sergey. Suliecki, he's about to fight Charlo. Falcao, he's with Top Rank.
Hell,
So what we gonna get? Adames versus
boy.
Montiel? I guess we gonna get Adames versus
Yeah, why not?
Montiel.
Why not?
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
Unbelievable.
we can't
Wait, which
count on
ranking
it.
is this? Does WBC?
This WBC. These is the current rankings.
These are the
And,
rankings.
and that's another thing. That's who I hold accountable is the WBC with their fugazi ass rankings, man.
Nah,
I asked-
because no, the rankings look normal. It's the politics that fuck it up. By all rights, Chris Eubank Jr. and his fake beard need to be fighting people, and he don't want to fight shit. He don't. If they offer him,
he's nice clout chasing Terrence.
he clout chasing, bro. He clout chasing welterweights. So that tell you what you need to know about. Like if you you think if they offered him an Adames final eliminator to become the mandatory, do you honestly believe that Chris would take it while he calling out Conor Benn, Kell Brook, and Terrence Crawford?
No.
No, it won't happen, bro. It won't happen. Funny shit is, I think he can knock out Adames because Adames is chinny, boy.
Oh yeah. Hey, if the fighter, I pick him to beat Adames for sure.
I think if he laying hard, he can knock him out because Adames is chinny. Like we seen that shit in the Teixeira fight, and we seen that in the fucking for a brief second in the Derevyanchenko fight. They're like, yo, this dude, if you land on him, he gonna fold. But Chris don't want to fight shit. That's why he calling out welterweights. By all rights, this is who Chris need to be fighting. Let's get into Chris. Who Chris need to be fighting is Yanni Beck. Why? Yanni Beck about to fight for the WBO, and Top Rank is friends with Sky Sports. You know what I mean? You could be the A side to Yanni Beck, even if he got the belt, because you got more of a name in the UK than he has anywhere. So that's who you need to be fighting. But you don't want to fucking fight shit. He don't want to fight shit.
He's number 3 in the WBO rankings too, right behind him.
And he don't want to fight shit. He don't want to fight shit. So that's why you calling out Terrence Crawford. Like, bro, what the fuck how much sense do you make, bro? You fought at 68 before. You gonna call out Crawford?
I mean, that's like, I mean, it's like, bro, it's like as soon as he did, it's like, bro, stop. You're not serious. Just stop, man.
It's real shit, yo. It's real shit. That's why I said throw the whole middleweight division away. Just keep Yanni Beck, Esquiva Falcao, and throw the rest of the division away because they don't want to fight shit.
They need to be recycled, and also keep with Demetrius. He's moving up to super middle. I say keep him, but never mind. Yeah,
no, he leaving. That's why you ain't gotta worry about him because he leaving. So it's like throw the whole division away, bro. Gennady ain't fought in a fucking year. Murata hasn't fought in 2 years. That Munguia people don't want to put him in there with nobody. Charlo resume ain't shit. He think he too good for shit when he not. Throw the whole division away. Throw the whole shit away. Chris don't want to fight
instead of
shit.
sanctioning Russian fighters, they should just put a pause to the middleweight division.
I think the middleweight division should consist of feral cats because we'll get better fights out of feral cats in New Jersey than we'll get out of these motherfuckers. Just have nothing but feral cats and badgers and make them fight. Put them in the WBC rank standards because these guys don't want to do shit.
Word.
Now, on that note, I'm going to end this live early because I'm taking the family out. Gentlemen, always a pleasure. See you on the next live.
Safe travels.
Mm-hmm.